So it's another day and another drama surrounding Starfield. This time around, it's all about some media outlets and YouTubers not receiving review codes for Starfield. Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So Starfield is releasing in just few days. 6th of September is the official launch date. 1st of September is the early access to the game for those of you that purchased the premium edition, I think it's called. And day before that, we are going to get all reviews from all kinds of media outlets, YouTubers, but not all of them, because it looks like Bethesda was quite selective when it comes to giving out the review codes. And of course, we're talking about early review codes, right? I mean, because you could ask, so what's the big deal all about? I mean, everyone can just purchase the early access or something and play the game and review it, right? Well, yes, that's true. People can do it. These media outlets can do it, but the problem is that it's very important in today's age to have content literally like day one. The second the NDA lifts, all these YouTubers, and like not all of them, of course, like, you know, those that have reviewed the game, that receive these codes, are able to publish the reviews and their thoughts on the game like straight away. And it's all about competition. There's going to be a lot of people talking about that game. There's going to be a lot of interest in that game, so a lot of traffic, ads, and what have you, right? And unfortunately, some media outlets, like for example Eurogamer or Axion, I think, some YouTubers did complain that they didn't receive their review codes. Funny enough, like even some PlayStation fanboys were expecting to get the code. Don't know really why, if they've been bashing the game all the time and now you expect a review code, but I'm talking about fanboys. But what's weird is that like websites like Eurogamer didn't receive the code, right? So, and generally speaking, the current system for reviews and stuff is kind of, well, I guess not perfect, because, you know, at the end of the day, unfortunately, and, you know, this is not only me accusing Bethesda or Xbox, like a lot of publishers, you know, do it. Unfortunately, if you are, let's just say, positive towards a brand or towards the IP or towards that publisher, you are more likely to get a code, right? If you happen to criticize one particular company, well, you may not get a code, which shouldn't be really the case. And I understand that, for example, you as a publisher, so a publisher may not want to work with likes of Kotaku, for example, right? I mean, they just keep pushing those clickbait articles all the time, like, you know, drama all the time, right? I mean, you know, it's really difficult to read sometimes these articles. So I get that, you know, Bethesda may not want to work with them, but I'm not really sure what's wrong with Eurogamer. And listen, I get it. Like, I've seen some comments made by Eurogamer staff about like not being impressed with the demo, whatever, right? Like, but in my opinion, like everyone is, you know, everyone can have their own opinion, right? I understand that it may be, I guess, not really professional if you haven't played the game and you are taking some assumptions that, oh, a game will be like that just based on a demo, right? So maybe that's a little bit unprofessional. Maybe Bethesda didn't really like it. Who knows, right? But Bethesda is actually very picky, and that's not even an Xbox thing, right? It's more Bethesda thing, because like I remember, like even like a decade ago, there was this big kind of thing going on with Bethesda where they were literally blocking reviewers and big journalists of their codes. So, and of course, like I said, like back in the days, especially when we like internet didn't really exist, we would get reviews from, like paper magazines and stuff. So even if a magazine would not get a review code, they would have plenty of time to buy a game, beat the game, review it, and publish it, and then have some fun with it, right? Because that's the way things used to work, right? Like you had these monthly magazines or something, so you couldn't really speed up the review anyway, right? But right now it's all about like seconds. Like if you publish a video literally an hour later, you're done, right? You're not really going to hit that algorithm thing really, right? So that's why these media outlets are a bit sour when they don't get that early review code. Now, me personally, I don't really care about these reviews that much. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I read reviews or I listen to some YouTubers reviewing the games. Like I love ACG. There's a couple of others, other two. But the thing is that like I think when it comes to reviews, I like reviews where a review will focus on what's going on in the game when they talking about game mechanics and everything. I don't really look at the score. I mean, I do look at the score at the end because it's there, but I don't really pay much attention to it, meaning that, I will not play a game if it's just 6 out of 10 or if it's 7 out of 10. And unfortunately, some people actually do that, right? Or maybe they just say that on Twitter for clout, who knows, right? But I've enjoyed so many different games that reviewed poorly or received poor reviews. And also like there was so many times on Metacritic, for example, right? That's why I don't really take Metacritic too seriously, because I've seen some reviewers like, I think it was with about one of the previous games, some big game this year, and I've seen some, I don't remember the media outlet that actually did that, but what they did, they said in the review, "Oh, fantastic, great game, we had fun and everything." So just reading the review, you would think, "Oh, that game will get a 9 or 9.5, right?" And they scored this game 6 out of 10. But in the review, they were saying they were having fun, they were this and that. So, review was positive, but the actual number was just 6 out of 10. So, like, the whole score thing just makes no sense to me, right? I like reading reviews because, like, what I'm taking away from a review, I'm taking like not just empty number, right? Which doesn't really tell me much, right? Because there's different things that people like in the game, right? And like, for example, if let's just say if I were to read a review and a review would say, "Hey, this game has no story, there's no quest, nothing, it's just base building, and there's pretty much it, base management too," and the game would get 9 out of 10, I would still not play that game because these type of game mechanics I don't care for, right? Like, I don't like it. And same goes for Starfield. So in Starfield, where I will be reading reviews, I will be looking for things that I like. Planet exploration. What can we actually do on these planets? What about story? Is story interesting, right? What about side missions? Are they interesting too? So these are things that I like, and that's what I will be looking forward in reviews. And even if a reviewer will say, "Okay, you know what, story is great, shooting works fine, planet exploration is great, but Starfield failed in base management and ship building, that kind of stuff, and because of that we are giving this game 7 out of 10. Well, they are giving 7 out of 10 because they failed game mechanics I don't really care about, and I won't be doing anyway. So for me, that game is not 7 out of 10, but 8 or 9 out of 10, right? Especially when it comes to big games like that, because obviously, when a reviewer is reviewing like Quake 2, right? I mean, hey, there's no story anyway. Well, there is some story, but who cares about story in these type of games? It's all about fun of shooting and stuff, right? So if they fail in that basic mechanics, then I would not play it. But when it comes to games like that, there's so many different things you can do in games like that. So I don't care about certain things. Like just like Fallout, right? I really enjoy Fallout games, but I never, like in Fallout 4, for example, I never cared about the settlements. Obviously, like early in the game in Fallout 4, you have to, do certain things to, make sure that that settlers in your settlement has, food and, beds and whatever, right? So, I had to do it, so I had to do it. So I did that, right? But other than that, I didn't care about them. I know that sounds kind of mean, I guess, but hey, I was, I went off for a journey and had a lot of fun with Fallout 4, ignoring, the settlement management and building and security, whatever, right? So that's why when it comes to these reviews, I tend to read reviews or watch YouTubers talking about games rather than just checking the scores, because the score doesn't tell you anything about this game. Like overall impression, yes, I guess. Oh, it looks like it's a good game, but is it a good game for me or a good game for somebody else, right? And you won't find that just looking at just the scores. And that's why I have a problem with score. I like actually YouTubers that don't give out scores. They just, give impressions, because the thing is, like, here's the thing, like what I used to do, I would, before even reading the review, I would check the score. So if I saw a bad score, I would be, okay, so this game is just not good. And then after reading the review, I actually did find something interesting in the review, and I did purchase the game and I had a lot of fun. But that initial score was like, oh, it's not really a good game, right? First impression, right? It actually counts. So I understand why these outlets are kind of salty about not getting these reviews, because it's all about click-through rate and who's going to be first with the reviews and that kind of stuff. But you know what? Like, I would take it easy, guys. Like, instead of looking at the scores, just read the reviews or watch YouTubers that review games. ACG is a great one. He's one of those no bullshit guys, actually. Obviously he's got his own opinion, so you may not necessarily like it or agree with him, but he will be honest about these games for sure. So he will tell you what works, what doesn't, and then you will have to decide whether things that don't work, whether these things will destroy the experience for you, or maybe you don't really care about these things and the things that actually do work actually matter, and you will have a ton of fun with it, right? So that's my take on that and the whole drama. And unfortunately, this is what happens with these publishers. They are very, and I guess Metacritics and these kind of like websites, I guess they spoiled the gamers, and they spoiled a little bit of fun, I guess, a little bit, I guess, because, a lot of gamers don't talk about games and how fun and what's fun in the game. They just talk about scores, and that annoys hell out of me. It's like, and then people end up, comparing recent games, and this one is 91 on Metacritic and this one is 93 on Metacritic. I mean, who cares? Tell me, about the game. I mean, I don't care about the score, just tell me about the game. I mean, that's my take on it, right? And I don't review games, like, so obviously I didn't get the code for STARFIELD, but I'm not crying about it. you know, I paid for the Xbox Game Pass upgrade, so I will have the early access, the premium edition. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing to play this game anyway. So guys, that's my few cents on this. Let me know what you think about it. Hit the like button, as always. That helps that helps the channel a ton. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.